Buenos días a todos los que nos sintonizan. El día de hoy estamos sus hosts de los Lawchadores, Pablo, Rivera, Guillermo, Hernández y Roberto Campos en un episodio especial. El mes de mayo es el mes de salud mental o mental health. El día de hoy estaremos hablando un poco de cuál es la situación relacionada a mental health y salud mental en nuestra profesión, cómo impacta nuestra vida, pero sobre todo cómo impacta la vida de nuestros clientes. Y Jackie Salinas, que es nuestra productora y encargada de marketing, nos tiene preparado una actividad bastante interesante. Y gracias a todos por sintonizarnos. La actividad que nos está poniendo Jackie nos dio un pedazo de papel con lo que pueden notar en el video, y cada pedazo de papel tiene el nombre de algo o de alguien, pero no sé qué sean los demás. Y parte de la actividad es que tenemos que dibujarlos.
Necesito el marrón, el browncito.
Okay, so let's get started. Mayo es Mental Health Month, right? So, mental health, desde mi punto de vista, o salud mental, es una cuestión importante en el sentido en que hay ciertos tabús que están relacionados a la cuestión de salud mental, porque muchas veces, sobre todo en las culturas latinoamericanas, la salud mental sigue siendo como algo negativo, en el sentido en que una persona que habla de salud mental casi siempre es referida o se refiere a alguien que está catalogado bajo la etiqueta de loco.
No tan solo loco, porque también muchas personas piensan que son débiles o que no tienen la fuerza para lidiar con el día a día, no es verdad. Por ejemplo, si a alguien le dicen no, que tienes la presión alta, pues van al doctor, le recetan medicamentos, tratan de hacer algunos cambios de estilos de vida. Pero entonces si a alguien le dicen, mira, necesitas hablar con alguien o tienes que hablar con alguien sobre cómo te estás sintiendo y tus problemas que estás teniendo de ansiedad o muchos problemas mentales, pues no, eso no, porque eso me hace ver débil.
¿Tú qué piensas, Guillermo, de la salud mental, del mes de salud mental? ¿Qué haces tú para cuidarte, para cuidar tu salud mental?
Yo creo que es importante hacer que se llama self-care, ¿no? Que cuida a ti mismo. Eso para mí incluye haciendo ejercicio. Voy a terapia por el momento cada semana para hablar de todo, de estrés de trabajo, familia, en casa, lo que está pasando en mi vida. Yo creo que eso es importante, y también encontrar actividades que ayudan para quitar el estrés de su vida. Si es un masaje, going on a nature hike, como Beto le gusta mucho el nature.
Nature hike. How is that even relaxing?
Vamos a preguntar a Jackie, porque ella fue a un nature hike hoy en la mañana. Sí, yo creo que eso, pero es algo importante a cuidar a su salud mental, porque eso afecta a todo, ¿no?
Actually, in terms of mental health, something really important is that you cannot predict the future. Like sometimes you get caught up on what's going to happen, and you create all this story in your head, or it's like, this is what's going to happen, and you get anxiety for something that you don't know if it's going to happen, and most of the time it never happens. So that's something that it's, I keep in mind, because I do get caught up into, well, this is going to happen, now this is going to happen, and all of a sudden I'm getting all riled up for something that hasn't happened yet. I think something really important to do, and actually you mentioned it, because also mental health is not only going to like a therapist or a doctor, it has to do with taking care of yourself as well. So you don't have to wait until you're really in a crisis or to start doing something. Like you have to recognize that you need a break, go, like you said, work out, spend time with family, with friends, go watch a movie by yourself. Always be aware that you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. And it's a good analogy, when you're on an airplane and they're explaining the little face mask. And then, you see the video or the person there, acting with a face mask, and they always tell you, put your face mask first and then help others, like your children or any minors that are with you. So that's a great analogy to take into our personal lives, is that you need to take care of yourself so you can take care of your family, your friends, and never forget that if you're not doing well, then you may not be able to help others.
Bueno, yo en realidad sí crecí con un poco el tabú de lo que es la parte de salud mental. En casa, mis papás no tuvieron esa guía con respecto a cómo tratar a una persona o cómo procesar ciertos momentos traumáticos o cómo procesar incluso las situaciones de estrés. Esto lo he venido haciendo creo que mucho mejor los últimos posiblemente 5 o 6 años de mi vida. Parte de las cosas que yo uso como un mecanismo para lidiar con el estrés muchas veces, las situaciones frustrantes o las cuestiones traumáticas que son muchas veces parte de nuestro trabajo como abogado es, número 1, el hacer ejercicio. Procuro ejercitarme 3, 4, 5 veces por semana a lo mejor. Antes lo hacía mucho más y con mayor frecuencia. Ahora estoy muy cansado en realidad de la rutina diaria, en el trabajo, con mi familia y eso lo vuelve más complicado. Pero sí trato de ejercitarme. La parte creo que más importante en este momento en mi vida, que me ha ayudado bastante a lidiar con momentos de estrés y procesar eventos traumáticos o de mucha importancia para mí, es la parte de terapia. Estoy yendo con una psicóloga una vez por semana que me está ayudando a verificar cuáles son los elementos en los cuales yo tengo control y no, y por qué están causando esos momentos de estrés. Entonces creo que ha sido bastante positivo en mi vida y me ha ayudado bastante a lidiar con el estrés. Creo que pensar que vamos a vivir una vida sin estrés es algo muy difícil, sobre todo en el lugar donde estamos, con las responsabilidades que tenemos, pero creo que es más fácil llevarlo y de manera más sana si lo haces de esa forma. That's a very good question, because I think we're pretty rough about judging ourselves, right? So I think just thinking that we're not perfect and we all make mistakes, and there is some things that are not up to us, are beyond our control, and just being mindful of that, I think would go a long way.
I'm like really concentrated. I'm not the least artistic person ever. And my wife tells me that all the time. Be kind to yourself. You're doing your best. And it's true. And what Roberto said, sometimes nosotros somos los peores. Como nos juzgamos, como nos tratamos. Y creo que es bien importante, de nuevo, volviendo a lo que yo estaba hablando antes, tienes que cuidarte a ti para poder cuidar de otros. Y si tú no puedes be kind to yourself y tratarte bien a ti, pues ¿cómo vas a tratar a las otras personas? Y creo que es bien importante tener paciencia. Yo no tengo mucha paciencia, pero creo que es bien importante tratar de tener paciencia con uno mismo. Y...
Wait a minute, Pablo.
What?
¿Tú no tienes paciencia?
No, mano, qué sorpresa, ¿verdad?
But yeah, I mean, I would agree with like the same vein, right? Like sometimes you tend to be your own harshest critic, whether it's like work-wise, exercise-wise, appearance-wise, and there's a lot of self-deprecation that could go into that. There's this account that's like disappointing memes or something that Pablo sends us that are very inspirational. That's like, be kind to yourself, nobody else is going to be. Stuff like that. It's like, I think I tend to cope trying to resort to humor. Sorry, I just saw Pablo's painting. But yeah, I mean, I think I would agree with what was said.
Oh, wow. It is, because I don't remember when was the last time that I actually said something kind to myself. Huh. I don't even remember.
Yeah, so I guess last week I was being consistent with exercising, my eating, and all that. So I think that's for last Thursday. I said something nice to myself. This week I've been disappointing to myself.
I don't know. Like I feel like I try to encourage myself. Like, so I try to journal as sporadically as possible. No, I mean, I do try to be consistent, but maybe I journal once a week or twice a week. And then in that journal, it's called a mind journal, right? So it gives you prompts and you check off, like it lists maybe 30 emotions or feelings, and you check off what did you feel that day, what accomplishments did you have, what were your achievements, your attentions, and it kind of helps you wrap up the day. Or like sometimes I'll do it in the morning and set my intentions. So, I mean, I think sometimes that helps me, like, hey, you actually did this. Good job, working these cases today, or good job making it to the gym. I think that way I become conscious of like those little achievements and can have some pride in myself and how I carried myself that day. And weirdly enough, I think too, when I'm in spaces where I feel like I don't belong, right? Like there's that imposter syndrome in an event or something, I do try and like hype myself up, like, no, you've done the work that you need to do to be here. You belong here. You're valuable. You're worth taking up a seat at this table. So I think that type, sometimes I'm kind to myself or nice to myself that way. Or even sometimes when I'm feeling my outfit, I'm like, hey, you look good today. You did a good job putting on that outfit.
I think it completely impacts it because there is a history and a big number of people that are unfortunately going through like substance abuse as a consequence of very bad mental health and not being in a good mental place. And I understand that, like, being an attorney is a highly stressful profession. It's a highly stressful work. And sometimes when you do not have the right coping mechanisms, or when you have the right supporting systems, you tend to default to activities or other things that are not probably as healthy as they can make you. So it completely impacts in the sense that if you're not taking your mental health seriously, you can go into this very dangerous spiral when you can find help in different ways that are not, of course, the most healthy, like substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and some other things. So it impacts in a very negative way, not having a proper mental health routine or mental health care. That's what I think.
And actually, in our fields and in other fields, it depends on the kind of law you practice. But one thing that is inherent to this profession is the high stress level of it. And for example, in litigation, it's really confrontational. I never understood how other attorneys want to be, making more confrontational than it has to be, but it's confrontational. You have your clients to take care of. When you're running a business, you're worrying about your employees, and it's a really high stress job, and you need to be mindful of how you're feeling and how is it affecting you, because then all of a sudden you start getting stressed about work. You bring that home, and it impacts your family. It's a real issue. I know that there's a huge problem with alcohol and substance abuse, because like Roberto said, those are coping mechanisms that people tend to gravitate to when they're having issues. So yeah, I think the high stress level of this profession, the hours, the working hours, you have to be mindful of how they impact you and your personal life.
And I think in particular for our field of immigration, we do a lot of, it really has to be a trauma-informed practice, right? Because you deal with people who are escaping their persecution and harm and torture in their home country, and you have to hear that story, and you have to help them tell it, and you have to live that trauma with them. We also represent victims of violence, like who have been in abusive relationships and hear horrible stories, victims of human trafficking, of crime. And I think those can be some of the hardest stories that we have to sit and hear somebody tell. And you do suffer secondhand trauma as an attorney, and you have to figure out a healthy way for you to process that, but still be able to be an asset to your client, to help them tell their story, to advocate for them. But it takes a toll. Like it can be mentally exhausting, especially if you go litigate a hearing that has to deal with these issues. And really, it's an unfortunate reality that you have to put your client on the stand and they have to relive their trauma. And doing that for like hours at a time on a day can just be completely mentally taxing. Or hearing these stories in consults day after day can be mentally taxing. So I think it's important, one, to be trauma informed in our practice, right? So that we know what are the best practices of dealing with our clients that are going through these mental health issues, but then also how do you take care of yourself as an attorney, as an advocate, to make sure it's not destroying you, right? That you can still pour from your own cup, be there for your family, be there for your practice and your employees.
So I think as part of the benefits we offer to our employees, we incorporated, I believe it's 3 days of mental health, if I'm not mistaken. So employees are free to take those at whatever time they need. So if they feel overwhelmed, if they feel like they need one mental health day, they can just take it. That's one thing. And the other is we encourage people to just be mindful of having like this work-life balance. We never ask people to like stay longer to what is required. So having a pretty defined line of once you clock in, you're at work. Once you clock out, you're off work, and be very mindful of that and very respectful of that time. It's a very important thing for us to at least foster. I think I'm done.
I'm almost done. But actually, as an employer, I think that's exactly what we try to promote. We know that everyone needs a break once in a while. We try not to, you don't have to work past the hours or in the weekends. You don't. The work is going to be there on Monday. So that's something really important. Sometimes as employers, you forget that the employees have lives too. They have their own families, just like we have our emergencies. So I think it's really important to keep in mind that they have, to take care of themselves as well. Talking about like being your biggest critic, I think I just glanced at Guillermo and he looks pretty awesome, like almost like a caricature when you go to like a theme park and he's complaining about it.
I haven't said anything.
6 hours later.
Well, it's going to be, okay, here it is. And pretty sure everyone knows.
La voz de
Uvalde.
Wow, he's going.
And in case everyone is wondering, this green thing, that's the strap for the guitar.
And then
because he's not holding it, because I couldn't. And I didn't know how to paint the hands holding the guitar.
And as shoes, he's wearing some chalupas.
Look at that. And I did the straps. You look, he's giving the thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay.
I
thought it was the middle finger.
No. Oh, no. That's a thumb. So, yeah. Do you like it? Because it's going to be in your office.
I love it.
Okay.
That's great.
Do I have to put my name like
green?
Pablo?
What's the green?
The
strap. Okay, for the guitar. Okay.
For the guitar, because you're not holding it. Yeah.
Yes. My guitar strap actually is black and it has like a little praying hands at the bottom
really?
of it. Yeah.
Okay, let me change it.
And I've had the same guitar strap since I was young, like 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I've kept it all these years.
So mine is Pablo.
Chacho. Is that lemonade on the hand? Right?
Sure, Pablo.
Yes.
The last one, that surprise. Streaming to his followers on TikTok.
That's pretty awesome,
Yeah,
actually.
it is really
You
awesome.
could actually make a living if you ever get this bar, Guillermo, you can go
You can do caricatures at Six Flags.
Yeah, at the Alamo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Guillermo, you need to hang that one.
I'll hang it in my office. I'm not.
Wait, should
You
I
need
put
to
my
sign
name?
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My signature 2024.
So I mean, I think Pablo, you mentioned this, and I think one of the best advice I got in a therapist session was like it was this graphic, right, of like the circle of control, and it helped me realize what are the things like I have immediate control over, like my emotions, my actions. What are things that I have like some influence over, like my family, things like that. And then there are things that are just way out of my control that I, have no influence over, that I just have to realize, like, how do I deal with that? How do I process that? And I think that was like a pretty helpful visual for me to see of like, okay, stop worrying. Cause I think I tend to worry and sometimes I even create things to worry about when really like it doesn't do any good. So I think that was something that was valuable that I've heard before.
No, and to be honest, one thing that I want to restate, because it's really important, it's like, you're not weak, usted no es débil for seeking help. Usted puede buscar ayuda. Es importante. We need to get over that and get past the... and because, everyone makes a joke. It's like, back in my... in my time that didn't exist. You would just get slapped by your parents. Well, that's why we have a lot of mental health problems these days. So it's not being weak when you have to seek help. Take care of yourself. Everyone that's important to you wants you to be healthy, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, I think like that, again, ending the stigma of seeking help is important. And I think everybody can benefit, like just like you go to a wellness, or you should, not everybody does. Like I hadn't gone to the doctor for some years, and I just now went like for a wellness exam and some labs just to see like where am I at 37 years of age on this planet. But I think too, you need to take care of your mental health the same way. You need to, seek a therapist and see them regularly, even if it doesn't feel like you're drowning. Sometimes it's just good to go and de-stress and have somebody who's paid to be there to listen to you and help you process, whatever you're going through, even if it's good stuff. I think it's beneficial. I don't think I fully got to appreciate the painting, but you gave me like a pretty full beard, and I appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Pues muchas gracias a todos ustedes por sintonizarnos en un episodio más de Los Luchadores. Esperamos verlos muy pronto en nuestro siguiente episodio. Gracias a todos por el apoyo y que tengan excelente resto de su semana.